It was a day like any other in Stockholm, but it quickly turned into a living nightmare for those inside the Creditbanken at Norrmalmstorg Square. At 2:30 p.m. on August 23, 1973, four armed men stormed the bank, taking hostages and barricading themselves inside the building. The assailants, led by a man named Jan Erik Olsen, had a simple demand. They wanted the police to release a man who had been imprisoned for a previous crime. It was a desperate act, one that would forever be etched into the annals of criminal history, not for the heist itself, but for the bizarre psychological twist that followed. As the hours turned to days, the hostages, who had been forced to lie on the cold marble floors, began to experience a shift in perception. At first, there was fear, terror. They were prisoners in their own city, and for most of them, survival seemed a distant hope. But then, something strange began to happen. Amidst the threat of violence, the tension, and the looming sense of doom, the hostages began to form unexpected bonds with their captors. It wasn't that the robbers had suddenly softened. They were still dangerous, still unpredictable, but there was a human connection that started to develop between them and the hostages, one that no one could have anticipated. One of the most striking moments occurred when one of the hostages, a woman named Kristen, made eye contact with one of the robbers. Despite the weapon in his hand, his eyes weren't filled with the malice she'd expected. There was something else, something almost pleading. For a fleeting second, Kristen could see beyond the crime and the chaos. She saw the man as more than just a threat. She saw him as someone cornered, someone desperate. Then, the robbers did something unexpected. They began to treat the hostages not with cruelty, but with a twisted form of care. They shared their limited food supply, tried to make them comfortable, and even spoke with them about their own lives. The lines between captor and captive blurred. The psychological pressure of the situation, mixed with the intimacy of the confinement, began to twist the hostages' perception of their captors. The standoff finally ended after 6 days. The police managed to rescue the hostages, and the robbers were arrested. But the aftermath of the ordeal was far from over. The hostages, despite being free, struggled with the bond they had formed with their captors. Some even later defended them, insisting that they were not evil men, but victims of circumstances. The phrase Stockholm Syndrome was coined to describe this curious, disturbing psychological phenomenon, where hostages develop feelings of empathy or even affection toward their captors. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about Stockholm Syndrome? Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.